Women are predicted to define politics in 2018. The gender gap in politics has existed for years is closing in. ABC 7's Jess Dadrick joins us with more. Jess.
Alan, in a time where the Me Too movement is sweeping the nation, shedding light on sexual harassment and assault, women are becoming brave and powerful. It's not just when it comes for standing up for themselves, but women are also now realizing the power in their vote.
Kay Mathers has been a lifelong Republican until last November.
I decided after Trump was nominated by the party, after the Access Hollywood tapes came out and the continued rhetoric was not countered by the GOP, I decided at that point I was going to switch parties.
Mathers remained a Republican through the election as a statement to the party.
To me, that was a value statement that I couldn't get around, and I still can't get around it. I'll never forget it. I don't understand how you can be aligned with something so awful, and what does that say to children?
Now Mathers is a registered Democrat and fully supported now State Representative Margaret Good in her campaign.
I've always worked for women's rights. I'm a huge female activist. So when I met Margaret and she agreed to just sit down and talk to me and really listen, she just impressed me so much.
There are a lot of women like Mathers who are starting to realize the power in having their voices be heard. While the Supervisor of Elections office in Sarasota County doesn't have gender-specific data related to voter turnout for the District 72 election, the Democrat and Republican parties have their own statistics. According to the state Democratic Party, before Election Day even arrived, women made up 58% of the early ballots.
Florida tends to be a mirror on the country. So if you think about Sarasota, as you know, a lot of folks from Sarasota come from the Midwest. So if you see the election trends in places like Wisconsin, and Illinois, and Minnesota this year, you're seeing women turning out in record numbers. You saw that, in Margaret Good's case. And in Margaret's case, you actually saw a lot of Republican women turn out to vote.
Democratic strategist Steve Schale believes that women are fed up with the president's handling of issues having to do with women and children.
Change happens, frankly, when white women kind of get fed up. I mean, if you look at civil rights movement, if you think of LGBT issues, you see these moments in time where women really sort of step up and change the direction of the country.
A lot of these Democratic victories happening around the country in areas where women are predominantly white.
The Me Too movement, particularly among younger women, has really mobilized people.
On the flip side of the coin, the Republican Party sees things quite differently. Melissa Howard, president of Gulf Coast Republican Women Federated, says Representative Good didn't win because Republican women were voting for her.
A lot of people are saying that more women voted than men, and that is true. If you look at who is registered to vote in Sarasota County, I have the numbers here, and it's actually, gender statistics, 52.5% of the registered voters are women and 45% are men. So clearly, yes, more women voted because there are certainly more women that are registered to vote.
Howard also attributed the victory to Good securing a majority of the independent vote. She also points out that Good outspent her opponent, Republican James Buchanan, and just plain worked harder, which is why she won.
And that's something that the Republicans, here we have to work on, because I think we assumed because we have, the majority of people that are registered are Republicans, we didn't work as hard as she did. I don't like that people are judging local races based on how they think the president is doing. That's not fair.
What both parties can agree on is that more qualified women are beginning to run for office.
For a long time, women sort of felt like they couldn't balance the job, that there was sort of too much to balance a family, a career, and public service, which of course is ridiculous. Absolutely, women can do that. But what's happening is more and more women succeed. More and more women are saying, hey, that lady who ran for governor, and she's got 3 kids and she's doing a great job. I can run for the state legislature, or I can run for county commission.
So Mathers is just one of millions of women now making sure their voices are heard. And in the next 10 years, she predicts a dynamic shift in power from the female base of voters.
It's time to be brave. A lot of women I know don't like to talk about politics still. And this, to me, is not about politics. This is about how we live and how our children are being raised.
Some people believe as more and more women get elected, governmental bodies may be able to start tackling some of the major issues that our country is facing, and there could be a little less partisanship. Alan.